I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
We're AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Neon Genesis Evangelion episode 5. Last episode was my favorite episode of the series so far. I've had a little bit of time to think about it, and I'm going to double down. It was just great. I felt like it was the most introspective episode so far, and it was very crucial to the story in order to make any progress going forward. I think that Misato and Shinji's relationship and, you know, how they see each other and see each other's intentions is extremely important. And at the end of last episode, when that train passed and Misato turned around to see Shinji, it almost felt like the first time that they might be seeing that each other are both intending the best for one another.
Yeah, I think that other than there being so many beautiful visuals last episode, what was going on with the characters themselves, and not just Misato and Shinji's kind of connection and relationship, a lot was happening even though Shinji was saying goodbye to these kind of new friendships. Now that he's staying, we're really like solidifying relationships here of like, these are people that care about Shinji, and if he is staying and if he's going to continue to pilot the EVA, he has a support system now, and it's evident from the last episode.
Yeah, I also really liked his interaction with Ida in sharing the information of Ida also not having a mother, and that seemed to really resonate with Shinji, and also Shinji's, you know, his idea of what human relationships might be. Him looking at that couple in the theater watching the documentary, it's like he doesn't understand it, but he wants it. And I'm excited to see where that goes. You ready?
Yeah.
Sweet. I've been hearing cicadas everywhere, and I think it's in my mind.
I saw one on the ground on the sidewalk the other day, and I was
really?
like, At least that's what it looked like. It was pretty big. 22 days ago. What EVA is this?
Is this the fight that Rei had before Shinji got here?
Oh, maybe. This isn't the one that ended up punching the wall, is it? It's gonna break off. Yeah, Unit 00. That is Rei.
What's it gonna do in those 35 seconds? Oh, right for Gendo.
He yelled out almost concerned.
Is it concern because he cares, or is it concern because we're so short on pilots?
And we need her.
Oh, wow.
She wasn't even injured in a fight, if this is the case.
Wow, Rei, beyond the heart.
22 days ago. The first child.
Her past has been eradicated.
Why?
Ah. Mental instability.
It's like a giant crime scene.
This is so cool, man. I really feel the scale, you know? All the burns. God, the animation is just so good. His communication with her has already gotten better. Would he do that for you?
Cause he cares or cause pilot?
Yeah. Her body language is so different around him.
Well, that's kind of messed up for him to have seen. Oh no, was he fed the same bad food? Oh no.
I love that it's just pen squared instead of pen pen. Oh!
Animal cruelty.
He's dead. Such big sister energy. Mid conversation. Oh, can you go get me another one? Yes.
Everyone's gonna think it. I'm kind of nervous to go to her place.
But she's like your father. She's not very adept. This is a very different scene. Does it even work?
The fact that there's trash.
Look at the mail overflowing.
All the repetition of the like shoe prints gives that it hasn't been cleaned.
Oh, man.
The idea she was like cleaning her own wounds and tending to her own wounds in here. His glasses.
Oh, wow.
Oh no. Needs the new card. Oh.
今日これから再起動の実験だよね。今度はうまくいくといいね。またあの0号機に乗るのが。 どうして？大怪我したんだって聞いたから平気なのかなって思う。あなたイカリ司令の子供でしょ。お父さんの仕事は当たり前だよ、あんな父親なんて。
これより0号機の再起動実験を行う。
主電源コンタクト。ハルスハーモニクス正常。
計措置に異常なし。正計算誤差修正なし。
ステップ2590までリストクリア。
Glasses, man.
絶対境界線まで 0.2 0.1 突破。
Alright.
ボーダーラインクリア。連動試験に入ります。了解。
イカリ、未確認飛行物体が接近中だ。おそらく人だな。
UFO
UAP.
第一種警戒態勢。0号機はこのまま使わないのか。まだ戦闘には耐えん。初号機は再起動は成功した。戻れ。
I'm sure she wants to be useful. What's this one gonna look like? Oh!
Man, you're feeding me, Evangelion. This is some classic UAP shit. Does it know where we're coming from? Holy shit. Oh! We might have to use Rei.
See, that's where your thoughts went. My thoughts were, if something happens to Shinji here, I don't think he's gonna get the same reaction from Gendo that Rei did that we saw at the beginning of the episode. Or maybe he would.
Okay, that was Neon Genesis Evangelion, episode 5. It gave so much. It gave so much. So, I have a lot of notes. I have like 3 pages. Could we go through a couple things, like, chronologically, if that's cool?
Of course.
Okay. So, in going through them, I think that approaching these scenes or these ideas after the end of the episode, we'll be approaching them differently than how we might have first seen them because of added context. Is that fair?
Mm-hmm.
So, when I first saw the Eva punching the glass at Gendo, I had noted, like, okay, are we punching wherever we can? Are we punching whoever is doing this to us? Are we punching Gendo in particular? Do you have any thoughts on that?
So I think that my thoughts have stayed the same.
Okay.
From new context, I still believe that at this moment in time, there's a high chance that there was a subconscious intent to punch the people that were kind of putting her in this position, and or the people that created the Evas to begin with.
Because Rei was still within the Eva while the glass was being punched with the people behind them.
But we also have the idea from past kind of Shinji moments of when there's like a berserk moment. How much of what's happening is Shinji and Shinji's subconscious, or whatever that weird glass mirrored shot of some sort of alien looking creature.
The angel potentially. Does the Eva have its own feelings, thoughts? Are those being suppressed to give it up to Shinji or Rei? Yeah.
So I think no matter what I'm reading this situation, like in that moment, somewhere, whether it was the Eva or Rei, subconsciously or not, it was the fact that there were people behind that glass in that moment.
Yeah. So cool. After that happens, we get Gendo running up to try to save Rei, even though that the pot itself would leave burns on him. He does it. He loses his glasses in the process. Those glasses, I presume, to be the one that Rei holds so dear to her. I don't know if that means Gendo is aware that she has them, or if that is even important in that regard, but I believe that is where she got them. Would you agree? So, in our first feelings of, oh, why would Gendo do this? Why does he care so much? I was up in the air of it being like, I didn't entertain the idea that heavily that it was like an emotional based care and more, I only have so many, pilots at my disposal. Things got
had one at
fucking
the time.
weird. Yeah, we only had one at the time.
Yeah.
But things got fucking weird throughout the episode in regards to that conversation.
I feel like I definitely need to pace myself. I feel like wanting to talk about what Gendo could truly feel or what was his actual interactions with Rei and how he might have intended them or how she might have taken them. I feel like that is one of the biggest kind of topics for this episode in terms of a debate topic, because there really are two choices. Maybe some of them are a little more fuzzy and there's some other choices, kind of taglined attached to them. But there's really, I feel like, two choices. And I almost feel hesitant to start talking about them now if we're going in chronological order.
No, we should just talk about them if they come up, yeah.
So, as you brought up, like, we get the scene, obviously he comes in and rescues her, but then, and later on we get what could be feelings on his end. Like, we have a tear.
Yeah.
It looks like a tear in his eye. I'm really struggling between the two options. To me, the two options are he does have a care, and here he did have an actual care for her and her well-being, versus care about a pilot, and now that she is so receptive to me, I can manipulate her better.
Okay, so I have two thoughts as well, one of which is the latter there. I'm using the fact that we have care for each other to manipulate her, or there is an actual care, and within reasons for that, I don't know, but I wanted to bring up a couple things since we're talking about it, right, that happened throughout the episode. Number one, we get to learn a little bit about Rei. Her past has been eradicated. All of her personal records were erased. That is very, very interesting to think about. Also, in trying to diagnose what happened and what went wrong, we bring up that they believe that mental instability on the pilot was a primary cause. I want to put a pin in that, and then I want to jump to around 9 minutes into the episode, and this was like the big reveal to me almost. Watching Shinji watch Rei and Gendo, I'm not gonna be like stupid and make like some cuck joke of like, I wish that was me, and like, I wish my dad was treating me the way that he's treating Rei, because immediately I'm like, I've never seen this character. When I'm looking at Rei and watching her move, I'm like, this is not the Rei that I've been watching for the past 4 episodes. And the only reason that seems to be is because of her comfortability and her, I don't know, admiration and love for and respect for Gendo. Her body language is wild here. First of all, just the animation is fantastic, as it always is, but watching her just like happily hop out of the Eva, putting her arms in front of her, like coughing, like it's just so fluid, it's so alive, and it's so different than we've seen Rei so far.
Oh, I like you calling it alive, because I feel like when we do see her walk down the street in front of Shinji and on the escalator, there is a lack of energy to her movement.
Yeah. Until Gendo gets brought up. No, until Gendo gets brought up, and then we get a slap. Like, don't you trust?
Which is a major change.
Yeah, and so I would love to know what they're talking about in this conversation that brings a tear to Gendo's eye, seemingly, right? But that's not as important to me right now than what it did give us, and that is what their relationship looks like between the two. If I had to, like, put one of my guesses above the other, I almost think it is genuine emotion and affection that goes both ways. I just don't know how weird or creepy it might be.
So I guess the line of thinking I just got on from that is that it's not the first time in media that I've seen someone who is just objectively a bad father, but that doesn't mean they're bad in every other instance and every other interaction you see of them in the piece of work.
Yeah.
Most characters are incredibly complex, and you can't put a giant blanket statement on them without kind of denying some other content that you've seen of them.
Yeah.
So he can be an awful dad, but I can't necessarily say for sure that he doesn't care about Rei.
Yeah.
I wish I knew which one it was, because I feel like I honestly love this feeling. I love this feeling. I love when a show creates this like pull inside my body where I'm like, don't go overboard. Don't hate him too much because you don't know. They could come out and like wild twist in the future. And where I feel like the content is giving me this feeling of like it's pulling me in two different directions and I'm like, what do you want me to feel? How do you want me to feel about this character? Because you're giving me things that make me want to feel this way and you're giving me things that make me want to feel this way, which is obviously I think an intended thing that's happening.
My interpretation when you get a character like Gendo like thrown at you, he seems to have his priorities straight, like in his own life. Like he does not have his priorities straight. I mean, he is like
with work.
Yeah, we know as an audience where his priorities lie, seemingly, right? And that is within work and in his own projects and his own creations.
Which is for the greater good of humanity. His priorities lie with the big picture.
I feel like he is looking at Rei. We have the picture still pulled up and tearing up. It's almost like he's proud of something that he created. It's almost like that he's looking at an Eva itself. Like
Well, she's become probably so. That's why I brought up the idea of manipulation. She's become
the perfect pilot.
But
she hasn't though. That's the thing.
For the future though.
No, if it was Gendo in that situation and Gendo ejected, or sorry, what the fuck am I talking about? If it was Shinji in that situation and Shinji ejected, would Gendo have done the same, or would he have walked away and been like a failure? Like would he have been? I know that Shinji wasn't there at the time, and like any progress is better than no progress, so that argument can be made. But I don't like there's so much more love and affection and care through his eyes looking at Rei than Shinji's.
But also, just a weird place to go with this. Could you also see a character giving the cold shoulder to someone they actually care about? He doesn't chase Shinji down when Shinji decides to leave in the previous episode. When Shinji says he doesn't want to pilot the Eva in the first episode, he's like, okay, bring Rei in, bring the one that'll do it. He's not warm and fuzzy, and could that also be on purpose? Like you're giving Shinji an out. You're like, yeah, I brought you here and I'm giving you this opportunity, but if you want to leave, leave. Even though we know we wouldn't want him to leave. We need pilots.
Yeah.
But he made it so open for Shinji to leave, which I feel like he doesn't strike me as the man, especially if he's thinking about the bigger picture and a fourth child hasn't even appeared yet, that he would make it so open for Shinji. Maybe because he thought Shinji would come back. I don't know.
It comes off to me as more like a placeholder. Like you're like, Shinji, yeah, you're fine, whatever, come here. We need you for the time being while I'm getting what I want worked out. Like I'm making, like Rei is being perfected while you're just taking like time,
And that's like the perfected idea. Like, what is kind of the perfect person to create into a pilot here is someone who is susceptible to manipulation. We have the idea at the very beginning of the episode. Oh, you wanted to put a pin on it, so I don't know if it's okay.
No, go for it.
Okay. The mental stability, not only the family kind of past eradication, that was so close in tandem to the line with Rei having a mental instability, which is what caused the accident during the experiment. If you have someone that fragile and with that little of a support system, and then you save their life, they're like feeling of indebted to you in a way. They become the perfect subject to manipulate, especially a young child like that, where they probably felt alone and scared and they were hurt in this moment, and you got hurt in order to save them, and now you're giving them this purpose, and now your purpose and your goals become their goals, and you're using that.
I think that bringing up these lines that I'm about to show on screen might give us some added context, because I was trying to find it earlier but was unable to. Mental instability in Rei? Yes, her mind became much more disturbed than we hadn't anticipated. So what happened? I don't know. But could it be ... Did something occur to you? No, that can't be it. What do you mean? What are we referring to? What aren't we getting here?
Is it something to do with her past?
It has to be, right?
Like I said, when was this in the episode, the lines we just went over?
This is right after we diagnosed that the mental instability was the main cause.
Okay. I feel like it can't be lost on us.
And also after we learned that the past was eradicated of Rey.
It can't be lost on us that they are said so close
Oh,
together. They're only like 2
1000%.
lines apart. The introduction to the idea of her past and then the mental instability.
Yeah, and disturbed is a very
Disturbed.
particular word as well. So
Yeah.
like it could be a situation that there was something massively traumatic to Rey that, you know, was forgotten about, but under stress in you know, the trying to link the two between her and the Eva, it comes back up. But
Like,
I don't know.
Almost like the idea of like, yeah, in the history books or in the ledgers, the history isn't there anymore, but in Rey's mind too, maybe it's suppressed.
Yeah. Another thing to bring up that happened in this episode, if we wanted to talk more about Rey as it comes up, let's definitely do it. But I wanted to talk about the composition of the Eva, or of the angels, not the Evas, right? Their actual composition and spacing of the patterns fall within a 99.89 match of human genes. That I have no idea what to make of. This is in regard to the angels, right? And not the Evas?
Yeah.
That I have no fucking idea. All I can think about is like, okay, if we do use the angels to somehow turn them into the Evas or make Evas, it would make sense that a human is able to, you know, cooperate with them or utilize them in the way that the pilots are if their human genetics are so similar. But I don't know what to make out of their origin being so close to human genetics.
I feel like once you get that idea, then I feel like we start theorizing other ways that they even got here to begin with.
Yeah.
Why angels even appeared to begin with. It starts to enter theories into the picture of man-made creation. Bringing about destroying the world by someone who is in the world who is as smart or smarter than Gendo.
Interesting. Like, back to the conversation of like the first impact or the second impact, and were we actually more like a part of the cause of that than the public is knowing that we are. Interesting. Okay. Another thing I wanted to bring up, just this is has nothing to do with anything other than me appreciating it and kind of just hyping up subtle details. Audio consistency with the Neon Genesis Evangelion is something that will never be lost on me again, and I'm a fool. Okay, so let's play the scene and listen to it. We're hearing Shinji open the drawer to get a drink, but then in responding to his name, his audio, we can hear him out of the room. And then we hear her right channel back in the room. Shinji's back there completely. Everything's back to central. It's so fucking good. And it happens the entire episode. We can hear him leaving the room. We can hear everything that happens slightly outside. It creates so much atmosphere. Even within going into Rey's apartment, and we can hear construction in the background outside. We can hear it 5 layers deep, and it makes everything that's happening on a surface layer much more alive because of it. It's great. And talking about Rey's apartment, Jesus Christ, seeing the pillow covered in blood and the bandages, you had brought up like, oh, is that her taking care of her own wounds? That's a great point to bring up. My mind was immediately going to just how devastating and sad her life is, that her own standards for living are just that, and that's so sad to think about.
Also, her standards for other people's care for her.
Yeah.
Misato invited Shinji to live with her. Rey is living by herself. So yes, maybe Gendo cared enough to rip the door open with his bare hands and get burned on the hands. But there isn't an adult here. There is not an adult here, seemingly. It does not seem like there's any idea that there was someone here caring for Rey other than Rey. And I feel like that is another kind of point over to that he doesn't actually care about her in like as a person. Because if he cared about her, he'd either be ensuring that someone was there to care for her wounds and treat them and do new bandages, or he would do it himself.
Well, either way, even if he only cared about her for his own selfish use, you'd expect there to be a cleanliness factor so that there's no infection or bacteria around, like, to further her sickness or disease.
But maybe that comes into the idea of there's a lack of thought there. They're not adept at living.
Yeah. So I had probably one or two more things, but one I really want to get your take on and to see if you can read anything into it. Because typically in a story, this screams like symbolism and deeper meaning. And when I first watched this scene, I almost expected a harsher response from Rei. It's the scene that Shinji puts on his father's glasses and then turns to look at her. I almost expected, after what we got already this episode, Rei to mistake Shinji for his own dad for like a split second, even though that wouldn't have made sense necessarily.
Familial
yeah.
facial,
but
look similar.
we get it. We get the shot from Shinji's point of view, looking at Rei, and it's all blurred. The only thing in focus are the cracks of the glass itself. It's such a fascinating shot, and I have no idea what it means. And it could mean nothing, but it doesn't mean anything to me other than it being a fucking awesome shot. And it feels like it screams something deeper, and I don't know.
Well, if it screams anything, it's that Shinji has better vision than his dad because this prescription doesn't work for him.
That's fair.
That's a clear fact here. We do know that her reaction to this is not super favorable. It's the only thing other than the slap that comes later that seems to get any sort of quickness to her other than Gendo and then other than the slap. After that, anything that would, and maybe another normal 14-year-old girl, what would have caused maybe a slap or a big reaction, lots of words, a jumping up in action, does not cause that in the scene that we get right after the glasses. She has no reaction to it at all. Is so unbothered that she just continues to get dressed.
Yeah.
I think the blurriness could be read as like, I still don't understand you.
Okay. And then my last thing is a line in comparing Rei and Gendo, and their similarity being they're both not very adept at living, which is the polar opposite, I think, of Misato, who has a literal penguin within her apartment, and that's pretty adept at living.
Right.
Do you have any other takeaways of that idea? Of both of them not being very adept at living? Is it just that they're very one thought focused?
When I think of what living truly is, it's a day-to-day appreciation.
Okay.
And being able to not be so focused on the future and so focused on your goals that you're still able to see other people and you're still able to be in your present and have an appreciation for your present, the people around you, the food you like to eat, the cleanliness of the place you live in and keep, that you are living every day and not just living for the future is a way that I could read it. And I feel like Rei was given a reason to live, and her reason to live is for Gendo's reason to live. It is for the idea he has and for the great goal he has.
I agree with that. You have anything else?
I just wanted to talk about how I felt about the slap scene, and that's the last thing I want to talk about. It's an uncomfortable place to be in as a viewer because unfortunately we can understand why she slaps and we can be hurt on Shinji's behalf. Because Shinji is completely right for having negative feelings about his father, and Rei is in the wrong here because you're getting upset at someone else's experiences. Yeah, you might not have the same ones, but Shinji sure does have experiences that cause him to dislike his father, and it's almost like my feelings are more important to you in this moment, or I could never view him as being negative. That's a way that you could look at it. But it was just an uncomfortable situation because it's like, yeah, I feel for her and I understand why she's upset here because she doesn't want anyone to talk bad about the person she now has so much admiration for. Or she might try to justify his lack of being a good dad to us. I don't want justification for it. And I feel like this character, Rei, is unfortunately gonna come to find that I feel like this scene speaks a lot to maybe how you could read Gendo's actual care for Rei, because I feel like you could so easily see this character in front of us that is slapping Shinji, realizing in the future that she was misplacing some of her admiration.
I think that that's a fair point. I'm on the side of thinking it's more like robotic, right? What really offended Rei to me seemed the idea that Shinji didn't trust, not in his father, but in his father's work. Like, and she has such faith that his creations and his work and his mind can come up with reliable, good, working technology and ideas that when Shinji, based off of his own emotions, and rightfully so, but brings up his own doubt in that project and in that work, she's almost offended on behalf of him on behalf of Gendo for not trusting that his own science would pull through.
But still, doesn't it come down to her caring about the man?
Maybe.
He could be doing literally anything, and I think she would support him in this moment.
That's fair.
But yeah, it was just an uncomfortable scene.
It definitely was.
I could understand why it happened, but I was kind of not angry, but I was like, on Shinji's behalf, because Shinji did not deserve that. He's allowed to have negative experiences with his father and speak on it, you know?
Yeah. I had just thought of one more scene that I wanted to bring up. When Misato says, "What's wrong?" and Shinji's like, "Well, nothing's wrong." Misato has a reaction and says, "Are you aware that when you say nothing that way, it's the same as asking others to pay attention to you?" I don't know if that line of dialogue, first of all, it's the best thing ever, and I love it. I don't know if it would have happened in the first 3 episodes. Like, their development in the first 4 episodes has been extraordinary, and it's gotten them to understand, and like both of them are at opposite sides of the spectrum of understanding each other, and they're gradually just becoming a little closer. And instead of assuming why Shinji was saying nothing and assuming that he was saying it just to get attention, she now understands that Shinji isn't that emotionally intelligent in regards to being close with people and doesn't understand the implications of saying things like that. So she chooses this moment to be a teacher. Yeah. And I adore it.
It definitely shows a coming to understand each other a little bit more here. I think it's good to bring that up. I feel like you're so right that it almost is like the epitome of what their current relationship is, especially from it last episode into now.
And then we play off of it a little bit with the Ida Toji thing. Like, what are you looking at? Nothing.
Nothing. Yeah. I wasn't looking at anything.
Her thighs? Okay.
Calves,
you're right.
Calves.
Calves. Mm-hmm. You good?
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and hope to see you next time.